It's time for breaking bread with Papa. Hey! Don't you know? Hey! It's how we go. Hey! It's time for breaking bread with Papa. Hey! Don't you know? Hey! It's also a show. Hey!
Hey, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Breaking Bread with Tom Papa. I'm Tom Papa. Very excited for the show today. We've got the very talented Bill Burr on the show. Oh, always good to sit down with my good buddy Bill. We would like to also welcome our new sponsor, the good people at Wine Access. Great organization. They sent me some wine. We talked on the phone. Such a perfect fit for our show. Look, I love wine. I love trying to learn about it and find my way through the big, vast maze of wine. These are the people you want on your side. Wine Access. This is going to be a great relationship. We'll talk a little bit more about it later. But right now, if you use my special URL that I got for you guys, you get $20 off your purchase of $50 or more. That's $20 off your first purchase of $50 or more. If you go to wineaccess.com/papa. That's wineaccess.com/papa. And they will help you find the best wines. It's as simple as that. Very excited to have Bill Burr on the show today. Love Bill. Everybody loves Bill. Why is Bill so passionate? Why is Bill so hilarious? You know why? Because he cares. Because he cares. He truly looks at life, sees what's wrong with it, and rails about it because he cares. We've spent a lot of time together. We've had holidays with our families together, with a lot of great meals, a lot of great cigars, a lot of great times. Just the best. I'm so lucky to have Bill Burr as a part of my life. And now you are lucky to listen to him. Bill Burr. How are you? Sorry for the delay.
No worries.
We started fucking with settings, of course, in the
Once you start messing with the settings, there's no turning back.
Yeah, we should have started that 3 days ago.
That's okay.
Good to see you. I'm all right. How are you?
I'm doing good. You know, dealing with the boredom.
I know. It is. We're just gonna jump right in. Okay. I know. How are you dealing with the boredom? I feel like I go through periods of real contentment. Like, this is nice being around with my family and taking some time. And then just this wave of, what the hell am I doing with my life?
Yeah, I went through that, but I've now that other countries have seemed to have gotten this thing under control and we haven't.
Yeah.
I think this is really a bad look for us and an issue of national security where we're clearly showing to the world that we're a divided country, which means we're a weak country, which means we're vulnerable to a possible whatever.
Right.
And my broad brush solution is I would regulate media ownership again, and I would dissolve CNN and Fox News because
I know.
They've just politicized this thing to the point that somebody sent me a video and there was people yelling at people wearing masks going, "Take off that mask, you effing coward." That's how they're hearing it.
Oh my God.
And then you got other people like mask shaming people, and then it's spilling into, then one of the people who wasn't wearing a mask took a swing at someone that was wearing a mask. Then the person wearing the mask said to the cop, "Hey, you gonna do something about that?" And then the non-mask wearers were like, "I thought you wanted to defund the police." Da, 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 da.
Oh my God.
So like all of these things just all came together, and nobody, like everybody with the slice of information that they're listening to that is so vivid between their ears, and it's just like,
right.
It's really it's a bad. I'm trying to put together a movie right now, and they go, "Well, can you shoot it in Toronto because they've had no new cases?"
I know.
And I'm just like, Toronto has no new cases, but in the middle of nowhere out here, we do. It's like, obviously, this choosing sides thing is not working. I just wish there was somebody or something out there that could bring us together instead of just the screaming and yelling and just rooting for different colored ties. Doesn't seem to be working.
I know, exactly. I was I was a little heartened that the president was like, "Oh no, I'm gonna wear a mask." He had pretended like it never happened before. He was like, I'm wearing a mask today," and and it was like, oh, if he had just said that in March, that whole segment wouldn't have seen it as a slight and a protest by wearing this
They
thing.
saw it from day one because CNN was like, "Ooh, here's a way to get him out," and it's just like out of all the things to use.
Right. Exactly.
You know what I mean? Well, this is like nobody wants to see old people die. Nobody wants to see people with asthma or health issues die. Nobody wants to see that. But CNN and Fox News are
they're awful.
It's terrible. And you can tell when you talk to somebody who watches one or the other all the time because there is no talking to them.
No, I know. I actually said that on stage. I snuck out and did some shows in Salt Lake City a couple weeks ago. And
did your part to keep it going. All right, Tom. Nice job.
No, I was very responsible. I did the research. I followed the government protocols.
I'm breaking your ball.
But when I was on stage, I said, these people are not your friend. CNN, Fox, MSNBC. This cable news is not your friend. These people are. The thing they love more than anything else is chaos. So if there's a school shooting, if there's anything, so they can keep you watching. And now they've got the ultimate version of that, and they're just stoking it. And I was in the car and listening to CNN on the radio, and the soundtrack, the scary violins and jink, 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 and bump, 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 bump. Yeah, and I was like, you don't have to. If they really cared about me, they wouldn't tell me how I have to feel about the news. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You don't.
You know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of Discovery Channel back in the day when they had Shark Week, and they tell you sharks are one of the most misunderstood creatures out there. Blah blah blah. And then the whole week they're playing Jaws music to promote it. And it's just like. You guys, you're playing both sides here. So
I know. So when I said it on stage in all 4 shows, it was the most. It resonated the most with the audience about like what was going on. It was like the explosion of cheering and acknowledgement that these people are driving us crazy was so palpable.
I know. It's
I turn it off. We don't have it playing.
I don't understand. I just don't understand how how we got to this place. I just don't. I just need somebody with like calm, level head. I
know.
That leans right or leans left to just sort of get us out of the ditch. And I really feel, I was joking with a buddy of mine, saying the left and the right both need to lose about 30 pounds of crazy on either side.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You got to get rid of the
the love handles.
you got to get rid of the racists, the religious fanatics, and you got to get rid of those people going, yeah, give your kids hormones when they're 3 years old because they identify with that mop over there. It's just like, guys.
Yeah, mellow it out.
Yeah, stop politicizing your kids. That's my favorite thing the left's doing right now is having their kids holding up politicized, like politically charged signs. Like the kid has any idea. He's just trying to make his mom or dad happy. Like,
I know. I saw that. Some kid was holding up something that was even complex for me to read.
Yeah.
and this little kid is holding it up over his head.
Oh, and that's going to live forever. And he's going to, for his whole life, he's going to be embarrassed being like, I didn't even know what that meant. I've never felt those things. That was my uncle. He came over. He made a sign. Yeah.
Oh, last night I was watching The Birds, and it was great movie. And when the birds are coming, the main character is he's putting up boards on the windows. He's boarding up the windows, and it really struck me that like this was bad to begin with. Like this was like the pandemic was bad, and it was kind of shocking that you couldn't go into the stores or restaurants. And then once the plywood went up, that's when it got really weird. Like once the plywood had to go up on all these cities and really put wood in place of the display counters, I was like, that's the thing that really I think pushed us over the edge.
That's when I actually started seeing the comedy of it, because I loved all those stores that put that up and then started writing Black Lives Matter on it. It's like, I don't think that if you did it the second you saw the George Floyd video,
right,
then you care. And I feel like if you do it the day before, they're going to protest there. It's like Black Lives Matter. Don't burn down my store.
If the paint's still running,
Yeah.
while the protests are coming through.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I mean,
Yeah.
it's these things are all so much bigger than what my brain can handle. But I
know.
I like to think I am smart enough to know that a country divided is weak, and we can't keep, like, I just wish everybody would just stop watching CNN and Fox.
I know. Just turn
Stop
it off.
watching it.
No, I know. Do you have it on in your house?
Only if my mother-in-law comes over, she watches it, and I get anxiety when it's on.
Right. Yeah. No,
I get anxiety, and I get if CNN or Fox is on, it makes me angry.
Yeah. No,
It's
I
just
can't
like,
have it on.
Because you got one side downplaying and then the other side over ramping it up, and it's just like, just blame, and it's such that's how I always solve problems in my life. Rather than going after the problem, I just start blaming everybody else.
Right. Exactly.
And then you know what happens is eventually the person goes, you know what? It was my fault, and then they do it. It just doesn't work that way. So I don't know.
Oh, I know.
I believe in people, and I think I think that the vast majority of people are rational.
Yes.
Calm people. I don't think they're getting into fights with people with or without masks.
Nope.
I don't think they're running around saying the N-word.
Nope.
I don't think they're all of this stuff that we've been talking about. I just think that, but like, when you do a game show, a couple of these game shows out here, they talk to you when you're in the line.
Right.
And they hand select the people that seem like they're going to be the most fun. The news does that now.
Right. You're right. You're
like, for all the
exactly
stuff that I've watched, all the craziness that's going on, I haven't seen any of it.
I know, exactly.
I walk outside and none of that is happening.
None of it's happening. You go to your store, everybody's just being cool, everyone's being friendly, getting through it. Even when at its most fraught, even like back in March when people were like running for toilet paper, and I was really remarking, this could tip over. If it's going to tip over into crazy, this is when it's going to happen. And it didn't. Yeah. People were just very polite. Everyone was on edge. You felt it, but they got through it. And it's only when you go home and watch it on television that it makes it seem like the whole world is doing that.
Yeah, you ever see a movie trailer that makes the movie seem way better than it is?
Yeah.
You go, it's like, that movie sucked. They showed all the best parts in the trailer. I feel like CNN and Fox, they're just showing all the crazy.
I know.
And then when you're like, oh my God, is that what's happening?
Yeah.
And then you go out and you drive around. It's like, hey, how are you? Doing
right.
Good. How are you?
You see a woman in the produce section, and you think, oh, here comes a Karen, and she's just like, is this ripe or not?
Oh. Dude, that's another thing too. Does the left see the irony with all the names and name calling that they've come up with? They have a friggin' name for like everything.
What do you mean? For
everything from you're a centrist, cis, blah blah blah, all of this shit, and it's just like, I thought you guys were against this. You sound like Mean Girls on a playground, and it's essentially agree with us, or we're going to label you as something and stick you in that bucket and then try and cancel you.
I know. It's so
I don't.
Oh man. Yeah. Well, enough with those crazy people. I mean, life is going on. I mean, how are you feeling being at home? I mean, you're getting some bonus time, which you probably wouldn't have had.
Oh yeah, no, that part has been great, and I took care of every little friggin' project I could think of except for one, and that involved changing out my electric outlets, which I learned how to do. But somebody in the back of my head, I was just like, I don't want to burn down my house.
Yeah, no.
I saw Manchester, whatever that movie was.
Right.
What was that movie with Casey Affleck? I saw that movie.
The sea.
Yeah.
Right.
There's no happy ending in it. I was like, I don't want to do that. So, but I did everything right down to, I have a little ass pool, and I got one of those solar tarp things.
Yeah. Those things are good.
They fucking work like you can't believe.
One of those blankets, those little. It's
incredible. You got to leave it on for like 2-3 days to get it all warmed up, and then once you do that, You can just keep taking it off, putting it on, taking it
great.
off, and it'll be fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's like the perfect temperature because it's not like, so warm it makes you sick to your stomach.
I know.
But
My kids have been doing that. They've been cranking it up when their friends come over and they want a night swim, and then they leave it on, and you come out the next day. It's like hot out. You go to refresh in the pool, and it's like it's like swimming in soup.
It was like it was in a giant's mouth, and then he spit it back out. That's what it feels like. It's gross. But
no,
I don't know. But
good.
I've seen a lot of positive stuff out there, and I just hate that the two major all on November 4th, and they just resigned to pushing us into chaos so that the right colored tie that they feel should be in there.
Yeah, I know exactly.
Like if Joe Biden wins, that Fox News and the right is not going to try to take him out the entire time he's president.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, it doesn't
try
stop.
to undermine. I just don't see. Maybe this is like a good thing, where we finally kind of. I don't know, but I really feel like with all this shaming going on, there needs to be some, and all the canceling going on, I just wish there would be some sort of pushback against what these people are doing. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm just saying the same thing over again. I apologize to people watching.
No, no, it's good. It's good. I think the only real solution at this point for myself is to turn it all off. I haven't gone through a Twitter feed. We don't have CNN on or any cable news in the house because, I just watch it. I mean, I act like it's for the kids, like that I don't want to drive them insane, but it's really for everybody. It would drive me insane. I'm sensitive to it.
I watched it the last 2 days because my agent was going, maybe do something in September. So for the first time, I was looking at the stats, dude, and I was just like, it put me in the worst mood. I was short with my family, and I was just like, I can't.
Yeah, I know.
I can't.
I think in my head, I'm just like, well, we're probably not going out until the new year, and then anything that comes in will be a bonus. But I think in my head,
if they just had a definitive day, you could probably enjoy the rest of the year.
I know exactly. It's
just
the vagueness. I know. My daughter, Lena's graduated from high school, and they just keep pushing it. They just keep pushing. Like we have like this kind of a ceremony, but then we might have a live ceremony, but then it might be on this date, and then you get your hopes up, and then they cancel it, and it's that uncertainty. It's like just give us certainty. That's all we want out of all of this. Is just give me like definitive dates. They should just say, you know what, 2020 is a wash. We're gonna start over in January. Do what you got to do. Work out.
Yeah.
Hang out with your family. Stop thinking you're going to do stuff.
No, I've related it to like when they delay your flight and they know it's going to be 6 hours minimum, but they just keep pushing it back 15 minutes because they're afraid if they tell you it's going to take us 6 hours to get another crew in a plane here, that they're going to have a mini riot in the terminal. So they just give you the bad news 15 minutes at a time.
That's so perfect. That's exactly what it is. Dude, I had a moment last night where I was cooking, and I was cooking Italian, and I was making vodka sauce. Angelina wanted vodka sauce, so I was doing that, and the onions were going, and the sauce was going, and the smell of Christmas, because I hadn't made this in so long. That's usually the smell of Christmas came in. I was like, I wonder if we'll be doing that this year. I wonder if Bill's going to come over this Christmas Eve.
Well, I think by then the testing. Remember when flat screen TVs were like 10 grand a piece?
Yeah.
Now they're like $600. I think maybe by the end of the year, testing will be a lot easier. There's so much money to be made in it.
I know.
That and that maybe there'll just be a way that you go, okay, here's the deal. We're all getting tested.
Yep.
And then nobody talk to anybody, and then we're all going to meet at Tom's.
And we can play with the trains.
We're still going to wear masks.
Right.
Unless we smoke sticks, because then the smoke kills whatever's coming out of you.
I have to say, that is a very cool little tradition that we have, the Christmas Eve. And I caught a picture of it back in my old house the first time that you guys came.
Yeah.
And we were babies.
Yeah.
We really looked like babies.
And it's funny because we were like 40.
I know.
You know, so just know that when we hit 60, we're like, oh my God, look how young I looked at 50.
I know. But that's really that is a good a good little tradition. We fire up some good food. You guys always make a good effort. Which, to be frank, I never thought a comedian would have it in them to keep a social engagement on a Christmas Eve. But you guys come through every year.
Oh yeah. No, that's one of our favorite ones. The this year was a little hectic because there was some people from F is for Family, the cartoon show I do.
Right.
They had a couple of parties. I had to make sure, you know,
Yeah. Yeah.
all those guys. So I want to make sure I hit them. It just was on the same day.
Right,
So,
exactly. But we got to hang with Nia before you were running around.
Yeah, we always go to yours. We always go to the Madrigals. There's a
Right.
couple that we always have, and we had a big one this year that I forgot to invite you. Brutal.
Which one? What was
I had a
it?
Christmas party at our house this past year. I've already talked to you. You've already been heartbroken. You've already guilted me. So this isn't going to work, dude. It was great.
Oh man.
Other than I forgot to invite like 6 people, and I'm really bad at, you know, comedian. I'm really bad with social stuff. And then for like an entire week after, I was like, I would just drive down the street and then just be like, the Papas.
Oh shit.
I would just do that for like a month.
Did you grow up with that? Did you grow up with like holiday
No.
celebrations at all?
No.
What was holiday? What was Christmas time around the
We
Burrs?
grew up isolated. Did you ever see that documentary about that dude who had like 9 kids and kept them in that New York apartment?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was
With
like
nowhere-
that.
They don't tell them about the outside world.
Well, what happened was we were right next to a neighborhood with a bunch of kids, but we lived on the other side of the busy street.
Uh-huh.
So it was like, it was a good quarter of a mile to get where kids just went outside and played, which is what I had when I was younger.
Right.
So we had a bit of an arrested development, just being sort of not socialized to interacting with kids outside of school.
Because once you got home, you couldn't like mingle with the kids in the neighborhood.
We just interacted with each other.
Right.
And then, yeah, and then like
And
my parents, through like the military and working and stuff, got transplanted away from all of their friends. And my dad was getting his career going. He was just work. And my mother was
Right.
just, you know, having kid. So we just became like this
right, right.
isolated amoeba up there.
Were there no grandparents, no other family, like extended family?
They were all like across the country. So they would come occasionally, and that
right.
was fun. That was a great time. But like for the most part, yeah, we were like the Swiss Family Robinson. Just living in our own treehouse.
It's
And
an
then you
interesting
compile
thing
that with my mother and father are both loners.
right.
It's the weirdest sort of dynamic. Well, usually if you get
Yeah.
like it's usually an opposite attracts.
Right.
But you know, there's enough overlap that there's common ground. But their common ground was being loners. So I come from this big family of loners.
How many kids?
6.
6. So you kind of had enough. It must have felt like.
Yeah, there was always enough kids to get a game going.
Right. Yeah.
You know, you could always get 3-on-3 going or whatever.
Right.
3-on-2 if somebody wasn't there. So we just, you know, there was the 4 seasons, so we played the 4 sports. We played baseball in the summer,
Right.
football, mostly basketball. Hockey was expensive, so we
Right.
play a little bit of pond hockey when we could get out there. But like that shit, it was just like the hockey families always had like, it seemed a bunch of kids or only one kid, because
Right.
they could afford. The oldest always got the new stuff and then just handed it down. By the time it got down to the youngest kid, it just smelled so bad. Kid probably got an extra 18 points a season because no one wanted to be near him.
Did you ever play street hockey with that hard ball?
Oh yeah, that was fun to take that in the back of your calf on a cold day. That's nothing compared to a puck, though. A puck is still the worst.
Yeah.
I played pickup hockey one time. I was doing a run of dates up in Canada, And I was getting smoked. I suck for America. Forget about up in Canada.
Yeah.
And I just wasn't contributing anything. So this kid went to just take a wrist shot. I just wanted to do something, so I fucking blocked the shot. Went right off my toe, dude.
Oh man.
4 days, like it was all red, and then like that night, like my big toe was like a color purple that I was worried it was gonna turn black. It was sort of like it went. All my toes went from like the darkest purple to like sort of My Pretty Pony purple. So that was fun for like a week. I couldn't feel my foot, and I was just like, that was just some guy working at a hardware store just took a wrist shot. I can't imagine
like a real
like an
guy.
NHL slap shot.
Oh my God.
Yeah, like how your foot doesn't explode.
So what were meals like? What were meals like in your house? You're all isolated in there. Was mom cooking, or was it like a crazy fend for yourself?
No, my mother cooked. My dad would do the steaks. My mother was old school. She would do all the cooking, and then
Irish food.
As far as like dishes, every other night was my night to do the dishes with one of my brothers, and he would dry and I would wash.
Right.
So, what kind of food? It was real Midwestern: meat, potatoes, no spice, salt and pepper.
Right.
Salt and pepper, bread every meal.
Right.
Bread and butter, no soda. Only had soda or pop. They call it in the Midwest. You only had that if you went out for like pizza.
Right. That's a lot of kids to feed.
It was like a scallop potatoes and ham.
Right.
Chipped beef on toast. Chicken a la king. Roast beef was a big dinner with the carrots and the mashed potatoes.
Yeah. Was it
swordfish with a Thousand Island dressing?
Ooh. Swordfish with Thousand Island dressing.
Yeah, something like that, or Italian. I forget Italian dressing. I think I forget what it was.
Right.
So you took this healthy piece of fish and then added 4,000 calories on it.
Yeah.
Broiled it.
So these animals will eat it and not know it's fish.
My mother has an incredible recipe for a spaghetti sauce.
Oh yeah.
Yes, that I still have. It's a molasses-based one. Unfortunately, my wife doesn't like it. It's too sweet.
Molasses.
It's not like a savory one. It's like where my parents grew up is a real like German, like the Midwest, like Wisconsin, Michigan, Chicago. There's all the brats and all of that stuff out there. So there was a lot of that sort of stuff. But
yeah, my grandfather was that way. My one grandfather was German, and any of that kind of sour braten, coleslaw.
Yep.
Any of the
relish,
mushed up cabbage and relishes. Yeah, yes. Exactly. Yeah, and just some meat. It was good stuff, though. It was really good
like
stuff.
My dad, I like the dill pickles, and we always had the bread and butter chips. And I felt like I hated those, and I just felt like that was from where he grew up. So we had a lot of pork chops.
Oh, nice.
It was like meat every night with potatoes and bread every night.
That's a lot.
And occasionally, if we were late, we'd get fast food, McDonald's. Yeah, my dad would go in, he would order, and it was like 6 cheeseburgers, 6 small fries, 6 chocolate shakes, 2 Big Macs, 2 large fries, 2 large Cokes. And that was the order. So that took care of all the kids, and the Big Mac, large fry, and Coke was them. And it was the greatest.
Oh my God, the best.
Yeah.
That's like a treat.
Yeah. No, that was a big deal. Going to there. We went there, Wendy's, Friendly's, Pewter Pot.
What?
Brigham's, all this East Coast stuff.
Pewter Pot?
Pewter Pot started off, I swear to God, was a chain of stores that just made muffins.
Oh.
It sounds crazy.
Yeah.
But you can do it with donuts. But I think because donuts is established, that doesn't sound crazy.
Right.
Especially here in LA with all the donut shops. But this was muffins, and they weren't making it. So they gradually expanded to a sit-down restaurant where they would do burgers and that type of comfort food.
Right.
And we would all go out and we would get like a big main course. I won't say entree now that I've been to France anymore. A main course, and then for dessert you'd have a muffin.
They're still pushing the muffins.
Well, we would still do it. So I would get like a burger with fries and like a Coke, and then I'd have a blueberry muffin for dessert.
They're still hanging on to the muffin angle.
Yeah. And then one time we went out to a really fancy place, and it was one of the fanciest restaurants, nicest restaurants in the country at the time. It was called Anthony's Pier 4. And it was an Italian restaurant somewhere. It's like South Boston, the end of a pier.
Right.
And we went out there. Remember, my parents made us all wear suit and ties.
Ooh.
It felt like assholes sitting there. You know, it was the 70s. Everybody had long hair and shit. We were showing up looking like little lawyers. And we went out there, and I remember steak was one of the thing, and they had this amazing char on it. But it was just so far away from anything our palate has experienced.
Yeah.
We didn't like it. My parents sent it back to see if they could cut the char off of it. And I still remember the look on the waiter's face of like, what a bunch of rubes we were.
In your fake ties.
But I want to say the dude Anthony came around, or somebody related to him. It was like one of those restaurants. Well, you know, we had a big family.
Yeah.
You know, they knew they were making a lot of money off us. So you went over, you said hello. And I remember him coming over. He's this Italian guy, had like the 3-piece suit on, the shiny shoes. I thought he was cool as hell.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was pretty much that. But we didn't really delve into a lot of Boston cuisine. Like, we never went to the North End.
Oh, no.
Like, white people were really separate then. And so unless you had any Italian blood in you, you didn't know about the North End. The North End was all Italian. So that's where all the incredible food was, as far as that went. But
you wouldn't go there.
No, we sort of identified with the Irish people because I have a little bit of Irish. I'm mostly German.
Right.
So I think you just had to pick a group of white people to get with.
Right.
Back then, so we got with the Irish, which was a fun thing as far as partying and shit. But we really missed out on the cuisine.
Right. Have you ever been to Germany?
Yes, a couple of times.
Did you feel like you identified when you were there? Did you feel like there was a little bit of your blood popping up?
Yeah, I think I felt it more when I went to Ireland and Scotland, but I think that's because I grew up in Boston and there was shamrocks and all that. So much of that culture was there, bagpipes and parades.
Right.
But when I went to Germany, what really the connection I felt was their regimented ways and my love of machinery. Even though I don't really have that knack, like just being into racing and aviation and the stuff that I've gotten into, and how they're at the top of their. I mean, they've dominated F1 since I've been watching it. The Mercedes team, motorcycle racing is different.
Yeah.
With Honda and stuff like that, but like I just, I'm really into, like, as far as Europe goes, I love Northern Europe, and I also love the Mediterranean. And I always felt like if you could have that mindset and that discipline of Northern Europe with Mediterranean people's understanding of how to live and family.
Yeah.
Because I don't feel the warmth of family up north.
No.
All right, but people feel like they're on their game.
Right.
And I'm talking mainland Europe. I'm not talking like England, Scotland, Ireland, and that stuff. But I mean, but when you're in the Mediterranean, like, I still during this pandemic, the amount of times that I thought about when I was in Tel Aviv and I was with Joe Bartnick and Club Soda Kenny, and me and Joe Bartnick 2 days in a row sat out on the Mediterranean and smoked real Cuban cigars.
Whoa.
Had a Partagas Series D and a Cohiba Robusto. They're the two best cigars I ever had. Like, we were sitting there in silence. And like once every 15 minutes, we just look at each other and be like, unbelievable. And
During
just
the day?
go back to it. And then all these just beautiful women just walking by. Like, if you saw how beautiful the women are over there, there's really no reason to be fighting.
What was the
over
setting?
The land, at least.
Were you sitting in lounge chairs, like looking over the water, like that kind of a thing?
No, we were sitting on a park bench on the boardwalk, and then there was a little stone wall,
Mm-hmm.
and we were basically, if the Mediterranean is like a cul-de-sac,
Right.
we were at the end of it. So we were looking out at the vast expanse, knowing to the left it goes down to Africa, knowing to
Oh
the
my
right it
God.
goes by Romania, Greece, French Riviera, Italy, all of that stuff.
Oh.
And then the sun would go down. And you would just be watching this going, how are people fighting over here
Right.
with all of this beauty? But I mean, you could say that about this country. This country is breathtaking.
No,
It all is. It all is.
It all is, exactly. It's
no reason for this screaming and yelling. And this is coming from someone with a temper.
Bill, if you'll indulge me, I want to talk about my new sponsor.
Oh, I would love to. Is that bottle of booze behind you?
Yeah, well, it's related. Absolutely. It is the good people at Wine Access. Wine Access is this very cool company. I met with them. They're the coolest. I love to, as you do. We're very refined. We like to do things like you don't want to just sit on that place and have a shitty cigar. You researched. You want to do the thing.
Right.
And wine is the same thing. Wine is this big kind of, to some people, very intimidating and very difficult way to navigate. And Wine Access is this group that has these wine experts that go around the world and they pick out all of the best wines, they pare it down, and then they deliver it to you. So you can go to wineaccess.com.
What goes good with chicken a la king?
Chicken a la king. A nice Chianti.
Yeah. I was going to guess that, Mr. Papa.
And so whether you're really into wine and just want to explore further, or if you want to try and figure it out, these guys are super great. They send you the wine. If you're part of their club, they send it like every 6 months. You get more wine, or you get 6 premium bottles every season, or you could just go on the online store and do it. And it also comes with a description with a story of all the wine and everything. And you're not going to get bad stuff. It's all going to be good stuff, and then they're going to tell you why. And because they love me so much, they're going to give you $20 off your first purchase of $50 or more, which is an incredible savings. $20 off, but you have to go to my special URL, which is wineaccess.com/papa, P-A-P-A. That's wineaccess.com/papa, and you'll get $20 off your first purchase of $50 or more. And I got to tell you, I've been blazing through wine during the pandemic. And
oh yeah.
And it's frustrating because like when you're like, I don't know if I'm going to drink, and then if you commit and then you get something bad, it's the worst.
Do you still finish the bottle?
Yes.
Yeah. It's a nice, honest answer. Yeah. I quit boozing in end of 2018.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, and it's actually good because I was telling my wife I'm coming up on 600 days here in a few days of no booze.
Whoa.
And I'm like,
600 days.
Yeah, and I'm like, all right, I'm kind of ready to come back, but then I just think it through, and I'm like, I'm coming back for the wrong reasons. I want to come back and drink because I have anxiety, and that's not a good reason to drink.
No, it should be a celebration.
And when I think of drinking, I don't think of, would I love a nice glass of wine? I don't. I just think like, dude, I'm going to get a rack of Miller High Life, and I'm going to do a shot with each one of them. I'm going to get fucked up.
We've talked about this. This is time to shift your thinking. You've got to approach it like a gentleman. You've got to be like, I'm just going to have one. I'm going to have one, and it's going to be at 5:00, and it's going to be a little shift into the night, and then you're done, and you don't keep plowing to the end of the night and end up ruining your next day.
I don't have that skill set yet.
You have to develop it. You love the finer things. You loved France when you traveled to France. Oh, we go back to that for a second?
Yes.
You said you won't say entree because you visited France. What do you mean? Because
entree is entering. That's the first course.
Oh, I never knew that.
Somehow entree here became the main course. Entree in French means enter. You're entering the meal.
Oh, how do we screw that up?
CNN and Fox. I'm gonna blame them. I'm gonna blame them for everything.
Oh, they're the worst.
They really are the worst, and I think it's time people just address it. Just you're not Americans. You're fucking whores, and you're just making all this money off of this misery. And
the worst.
Yeah, they should be out of it. You know,
the worst.
Yeah, they don't fucking do anything for anybody other than just give people anxiety. And I love what, you know, I got to be careful. I love what a certain comedian did for some firefighters that, you know, those big news companies should have been doing. One of whom bought an old firehouse and turned it into his own apartment, ironically.
Right.
Hilarious. Yeah.
Right.
Hilarious.
No, exactly.
So,
yeah, no.
Just let you know, I don't know. I'm kind of painting with a broad brush, but I'm just like, it's just all about making money over there.
No, 100%. It's not about just giving you information. It's about manipulating you. It's about changing you, making you fearful, so you keep tuning in and keep going back and watching.
Let's get out of this, though. We're in an eddy right now. We got to get out of this. Let's talk about something positive.
Yeah, let's get the hell out of there. How was the last bread I brought you?
Oh, I'm trying to remember it. It was gone so fast. It was delicious. Do you get annoyed by that AT&T commercial where that smarmy girl goes, is there going to be and are you making sourdough bread? And the girl's like, why would I be making sourdough bread? She goes, I don't know. Cause like I don't know. Everybody's making sourdough bread. Like she goes, why is everybody making sourdough bread? It's like, cause it was a pandemic, fuckhead. And all the bread was gone.
There was no yeast.
Yeah, if we could make toilet paper, we would have been doing that too. What? Because whoever wrote that thing doesn't know how to fucking make bread?
I haven't seen.
Did the bread companies write that because they were making less money because wonderful people like you were telling us how to make bread?
Right, exactly.
How is literally making bread now is something to be made fun of for?
Right. Yeah.
Everybody that I know that makes bread.
Yeah.
Gives it out to people. It's this great thing. And somehow they're trying to make it be like this douchey thing.
Oh, they're the worst. There is something weird about the giving of it. I was thinking about it the other day because I was bagging it up and just getting in my car and driving off to drop off more bread. It's like I make one, I keep it. I do a couple times a week, and I'll keep one for the family, and then the other one I bag up and I drive off to somebody's house and just drop off bread. I don't know. It's going to
be great fodder when they eulogize you someday.
Right, exactly.
I mean, I don't think there's anybody in this church here didn't get a loaf of bread from this guy laying in his box right now. He's now in the ultimate bread box. And I know he's up there somewhere making Jesus a loaf of fucking something. That's how yours is going to go.
I'd be lying if I said I haven't thought of that.
You got to think of that.
Oh, yeah.
There's nothing
absolutely.
wrong with that's your life is also a career. So you got to think like, right. What are people going to say about me?
Oh, I brought some over to Marin, and I dropped it off, and he texted back that I totally endorse your next career. Now that comedy's over, you should just open a bakery.
He liked it, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, I get it. He's a guy I miss running into, man.
I know.
But then he quit smoking cigars, so.
Oh, he did?
Yeah.
Have you quit that too?
I did, and then it came back.
It
got
did.
me again. Well, I quit in January 13th. Then my buddy Verzi came to town. We were at a Lakers game, and they have a little cigar place where you can smoke in the Staples Center.
Oh, wow.
So probably didn't need to know that, did you, Tom?
No.
Well, now you do. So I smoked there. And then I didn't smoke again until May. I had 2 in May because I was writing some roast jokes for a buddy of mine.
Right.
And that's like my habit thing. Like when I'm writing roast jokes, I just
really?
I go on the back porch.
Uh-huh.
And I'd have a couple of drinks and I'd just start saying shit, making myself laugh. And I just write them down. And I would just come up with, I did that when I did a roast of David Ortiz. And the roast went great. So that's like my superstition now. So
wow.
I smoked 2 in May. And then in June was my wife's birthday. My son was born, my birthday and Father's Day. And I did Rogan's podcast.
Oh,
so
boy.
I smoked 7.
Oh my God. The floodgates were open. This is why you have, I understand why you have a problem coming back to drinking, because it won't be just one. It'll be.
Well, I never used to be that way. That's what I'm fascinated by, is that I don't have that addictive thing. It didn't come until late in life.
Why? I wonder why.
I'll tell you what happened was, I think a lot of it was I brought it into my house.
Uh-huh.
I never had booze in the house.
Oh.
So I would
Right.
never think to drink. I never had cigars. I never even smoked cigars. I didn't have them in the house. It's like right now, I got through all my cigars because I got cigars for Father's Day and my birthday. So I just had, I had to get through them. So I made sure I didn't get too many. So I finished those, and now I don't have any. So now we're 11 days into this month, and I'm not even thinking about it again.
Right, but it's in the house. It's literally whispering to you.
No, I don't have any in the house.
No, I'm saying if it was in the house.
Yes. So
It's
that's
like,
what
hey.
I'm like a guy. If there's a box of cookies there, I'm gonna eat them.
Exactly.
If they're not there, I don't have that addictive thing where like I'm gonna steal from my grandmother and go out and go get some.
Right.
But like I have like and all I have to do is go like 6 to 10 days. And if it's not in the house, I don't think about it. Because I have a bunch of high-end booze that I bought over the years, like Pappy Van Winkle's and shit like that.
Right.
And I walk by it every day. And last night was the first night I actually looked at it.
Uh-huh.
And thought about it.
Yeah.
And I was like, don't want to do that.
Yeah.
Don't want to do that.
I'm the same way. It's an interesting thing. If it's in the house, if I know it's around, and I do the shopping, like I usually pick up the food, and I'm like, I'll be like, I shouldn't be eating like Doritos. That shouldn't be something that should be in. And I'm literally, as I'm saying, don't do it, I'm putting it in the cart. It's like two people in the one head, putting it in the cart, bringing it home. And now I've set up a challenge for myself. Who else is going to eat these? It's now just putting off how long until I eat it. I brought it into the house in the first place.
Yeah, no, it's it's something you have to I kind of learned as I got older that you have to be your own parent. And that's the thing that they don't prepare you for. Like when you go off to college or you finally move out, it's like, I remember the first night when I moved to New York City, because I was a commuter. I lived home right through college.
Yeah.
So when I moved down to New York, my, mid to late 20s, I mean, I was living at home right up until I was 27. I was a fucking loser.
Whoa.
But I was
27.
Yeah, I moved in 1995. I was 27 when I came down to the city, but I paid off all my student loans, paid off all my debt, and saved up a nest egg, and then went down. I started stand up late too. That was the thing.
Right.
And I kept wanting to move out, but this chick at Nick's Comedy Stop, Rita, said, "Don't move out. You got your whole life to pay rent and mortgage." I wish I moved out, so I was just like, all right, I'm gonna pay down all of my shit. So that's what I did. And I remember when I first moved to New York, and I was hanging out at the comic strip. And Lucian was like, "I already have enough white guys." And I remember thinking like, wow, I can like stay out all night if I want to. I don't have to answer to anybody. Like I learned that at 27.
Right.
And I just think gradually, the road got to me, some bad habits, drinking and smoking and shit.
Right.
And then I compiled that with I remember another thing. DeRosa was renting my apartment in New York, and he had booze in the house. And it'd be cool. I'd come over, we'd have a couple of belts, we'd be laughing. Oh, you know what we used to do? We used to watch Netflix when they first became streaming. And anybody with a pulse could get a special on there. And there was some terrible specials. And we would get drunk and we would watch them.
Oh my God.
And it would just be the most obscure comics. I can't even remember their names. And some of them would end up being really good, but you could tell that they were like a niche market. Like there was this New Orleans, like legendary comic we loved.
Yeah.
The Beast. I can't remember his name. This white dude, Cajun accent and shit.
Oh, wow.
Just murdered. We're like, who the fuck is this guy? And it was like, sort of like how wrestling used to be territories. Like how I never saw Ric Flair wrestle when I was a kid because it was still territories with the WWF up on the East Coast. And it wasn't until YouTube that I got to see all his great promos.
Right.
So yeah. And anyways, I'm getting off the track here. So then I went out and I got a bottle of whiskey and I brought it home. And I remember it made me feel like a man.
That's right.
That I had whiskey.
Taking it out of the paper bag.
Yeah. which should have made me feel like an alkie, but it didn't. And then I think what ended up happening was because I go on the road, you know, I do my shows, had a couple belts afterwards.
Yeah.
Then I came home and then it was there. And then I didn't sort of detox. And
Right.
then I had some level of a habit, addiction, whatever you want to call it. But
Yeah.
I just think out of
It's
you
almost
know,
like
it's like if
routine.
I don't eat sugar, if I look
Yeah.
at desserts, that I look like, why the fuck would you ever eat that?
Yeah.
But if I
No,
just had a
know.
cookie, I want to snort a fucking cake.
I know. Yeah, I know. And look, I always talk about it like I'm always big about giving advice and then doing the direct opposite. But
Yeah.
I do believe that if you can be your own parent and be like, shake up one martini, and then just have that one at 5 o'clock, and then you're good for the night, that would be great. And I try to do that. But then in the middle of that one, you're like, ooh, the next one's going to be really good. This
It
one's
just goes
so
by
good.
so fast.
So fast.
It goes by so it's like
I
eating your
know.
favorite food. You ever eat it so fast the person you're with is only halfway through and you're jealous of them?
I know.
And like your caveman DNA starts coming up. Like, what if I just grab this pepper thing and just smash him over the head and take it like 2001?
Have you ever eaten pizza with Colin Quinn?
No.
Oh
I
my
can't say I
God.
have.
Oh my God. Because he'll like recruit you if you're at the cellar, or he'll like recruit you. Like he's looking for an enabler. He's like, come with me to Joe's. And the same thing. It's like, you're just about to take a bite and he's wiping his mouth. He's about through 2 slices immediately. It's like, and he has that real addictive personality of just womp, womp.
Yeah. I remember a long time ago, another comic with that same thing.
Yeah.
I made him a soft cook egg, which is basically, it's like a poached egg, but my mother had this little machine and she gave it to me, or gave me one. And, you know, it's kind of a bitch, but once you get the timer down right perfectly, it's the greatest thing ever. And then when you make a slice of toast,
Right.
put a lot of butter on it, and then you
Ooh.
break it up, and then you drop the egg in there, you mix it all up, and then you put some nice sea salt on top and a little bit of pepper, and it's delicious.
Oh man.
Dude, I gave it to him. He took one bite, and then just went. Dude, it was like watching a prisoner eat. And I was just looking at him. I was like, dude, I can make you another one. And then he just sort of like looked up and he's like, dude, I'm sorry. And I was just like, wow, I get why this guy can't drink. Because, dude,
Yeah.
he it sounded like a Saint Bernard would have ate it quieter and slower.
You literally feel their energy. It's like a rush. It's like an ocean wave of just of desire.
It's like that movie Ghost when she would feel him sit in her body. It's the same thing. Say if you're just sitting across and watching him devour something.
Oh.
Thank God I don't have that, because I have a lot of respect for addicts that are able to overcome that, because
Oh God.
I don't think I would have.
Yeah.
I'd like to think that I would, but that's, you know,
No, if you
we've
think-
obviously, you and I have both seen some pretty smart people succumb to addiction. So
Yeah.
that's really a, you know,
Yeah.
that's why I'm
It's
trying
a big bear.
I don't want to get back into it too, because, you know, we've had some cookouts here, just like family
Yeah.
things. And I got this flat top. You got to get a flat top, dude. Flat top grill.
What's that?
It's literally like, you know, when you're at like a diner and they got
Yeah.
a bunch of pancakes and eggs and hash browns going.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
one of those, but it's portable. Like I bring it to the Rose Bowl every year. It's got a
Ah.
little, you know, gas thing with it, right?
Right.
And you know, I was, you know, cooking up burgers and dogs for 4th of July.
Right.
And I remember, you know, looking at my wife and my kids and just thinking like, you know, if I was drinking, I would be at least 2 beers in.
Uh-huh.
And my wife would start looking at me being like, you having another one? You know? And then in my buzz brain, I'm like, ugh, you don't tell me what to do.
I'm gonna have more.
My funny bone money that paid for these burgers, you know, get in that dumb mode.
Yep.
I kind of found with drinking one,
Yeah.
the way for me to be able to do it is then I need a large water after it, a
Mhm.
nice ice water. And when I get halfway through that, as my buzz is going down,
Uh-huh.
I become rational again.
That's right. Yeah.
But it's just like
putting,
if I don't,
like putting water on a fire.
yeah. But if I don't, then like the
Yeah.
the Mr. Hyde starts going, get another one. Have another one. Dude,
So-
it got to the end, dude. I was drinking like I was like a glass this high. Like I would just fill it with whiskey.
I mean, whiskey, by the way, I know it's become trendy, bourbons and whiskeys and scotch. That is strong, strong stuff. That is not a wine
And I was
beer.
crushing them.
That is,
All I needed was one ice cube, and it was getting to the point it
that's a lot.
was annoying me
Yeah. Oh, jeez. Yeah.
because I wanted to feel the bite.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. No, that's put it away for a while time. That stuff is
600
strong.
days, buddy. I'm like 595 days right now. So
Wow.
on July 16th will be 600 days, and
That's good.
so I'm like, well, now I got to go 2 years.
Yeah. So what
to
do you
see
like?
what that
What do you like with a cigar then?
an orange Fanta or a root beer. Well, it actually makes sense in a way. Where I used to do a cigar with like a real peaty scotch.
Uh-huh.
And this guy finally said to me when I was in Calgary,
Yeah.
he goes, it's redundant. It's smoke and smoke. To go get, because he was drinking an alcohol, but it was really sweet.
Uh-huh.
And it kind of made sense to me. So and I just kept thinking of that movie Big Night. When the woman orders she orders some pasta with the side order of mashed potatoes, and the guy won't do it. He's like, it's a starch and a starch. I'm not doing it.
He gets furious.
Furious, like literally won't do it.
Yeah.
Which I think is why Italians. I don't know enough about Japanese people because in my world, the people that do it the best, as far as food, Italians and Japanese. I love. Italian food. I mean, you don't even need to describe it, but
No.
and then there's a cleanness and purity to Japanese food
Yes.
that is just unbelievable to me.
Unbelievable. I'm with you.
Yeah. So
Yeah. So wait, what's this? It's a thing that like I would throw on top of my grill just to like be able to like have like a fryer. Is that?
no,
what
I'll take a picture of it. It's just called a flat top grill, and
Okay.
there's like 4 burners, and you got like the little the propane tank.
Oh, okay.
Turn that on. It self lights.
Right.
The thing is light as hell.
Yeah.
Like we take it to the Rose Bowl, we turn that thing on, and we're making egg sandwiches and hash browns.
Oh.
And then later on, we're making our burgers and our dogs and stuff. It's
Oh, nice.
yeah, it's great. And
Nice.
you make it. You can make cheesesteaks, anything you want to make. Anything that's like not healthy and really delicious.
Yeah. It's so
Um,
interesting, Bill, that you talk about how like you kind of grew up in the Swiss Family Robinson thing, and it was a ton of kids and just cranking through meat and potatoes and stuff. But you do live your life in a way that is very ceremonial. You do like big traditions. You love family. You love these celebrations. It's like you don't just like you do the Rose Bowl all the time. You come to my Christmas Eve all the time. There's like you do have this very family.
Well, we did have that. Like
rooted thing.
we had a lot of traditions in my house. It was just us.
Right.
So if we could have done it over again, it probably. I would have liked if we were more social, but I think if we were more social, I wouldn't be talking to you right now as a comedian. Like I literally,
Right,
I would have gone a different road in life. I think.
Oh, because they would have satisfied the part of you that.
Because I would have said hello to the girls that I liked. I wouldn't have been beaten down. I would have understood, and I would have fell in love with one of them and married him, and I would have been there.
Right.
And I would be sitting there,
happy.
here we go, bro, and I would have just been a masshole. And I got to tell you, there are a lot of days, other than the fact that I love my wife and my kids, I wouldn't want to do that.
Sure.
But there are a lot of days that I wish what I have with my family, I could just bring back to Boston and leave this business. Like I find the lying and stealing in business exhausting, but I just take comfort in the fact knowing that exists in all business.
Yes.
Like the level of stealing in business and you don't go to jail, and to use that thing that, all black comics have always said, but if you steal a purse, they send you to jail, but as, white collar crime,
Yeah.
They don't send you to jail, or at the very least, you go to like a fucking racquetball club. Just the level of unapologetic, accepted stealing.
Yeah.
Like there's no shame. Like when you audit them and you catch them, there was that's those kooks down in accounting.
Yeah.
We're on the happy. We're on the honest side of the building.
We like you.
Yeah. No. So.
Yeah. No. It totally exists. But I have the same thing. I have these fantasies. You know, after growing up in New Jersey, that same thing of like, because you have some friends and stuff who are still living in those places and doing this. You know, a little bit of a smaller life, a little bit more of a. It's appealing. There's an appealing thing to just getting ready for the Giants.
I know that I would go nuts and I would miss you, all of you guys. And there's a reason that I ended up out here, but
yeah, I would be drunk. I'd be drunk or high all the time. Like whenever I picture like living in like, oh, this little, I could live in Montana. That would be good. I would have a drug or alcohol problem.
Yes, I would.
Because you can't turn your brain off. You can't turn your brain off.
Yeah, I would have a major sobriety problem if I was, I live like when I go to beautiful states, Wyoming, Montana, and the Dakotas and all that place, you really just look and being like, these people got it figured out here.
Yeah.
Like, this is gorgeous. And, I like riding motorcycles. It seems a lot safer out here.
Sure.
But I know that, there's a skill set that I have that I don't have, where I couldn't live in those. There's a mental skill set. And then there's also like, you gotta own a gun if you live out there. You just have to.
Right.
It's gonna take the cops like 20 minutes just to get up your fucking driveway.
I know.
Whatever was gonna happen, it already happened. So you gotta be. You have to be. You forget about being your own parent. You have to be your own cop when you're out there.
Right. Exactly. Your own mayor, your own police force.
Yeah. So I would do
funny.
that. I would get good with guns, and I would learn how to start a fire. Without a match, I would learn how to hunt. I do all that Rogan stuff, and then
yeah. No, you're better off where you are. You're better off. How is the family? How is the boy? How's the new addition?
Oh, he's awesome. He's like a little over a month old, so now he's sort of a little person now. Even though we're still carrying him around and stuff, but he's like hearing noises and looking around. Thank God, all those things you look for. And he's really chill. The other night. Good. Dude, he went to bed like 7, woke up at 10, and then slept till 4:30.
Whoa! Oh,
yeah,
a month in. The relief of that.
And I'm telling you, all you new parents out there, don't listen to other parents scaring the shit out of you. Because my daughter was easy, and everybody was telling me, "Oh, you know what that means? Your next one's gonna be a nightmare." All these old wives' tales that never have happy endings.
No, it's just miserable. I'm miserable. I want you to be miserable.
Yeah, I say how much I love my daughter and like how we're best friends and we get along great. And they go, "Oh, you know what that means? You and your next, they're gonna be like this." And
no,
like, why can't it mean that maybe I'm a good dad?
Yeah, what?
Maybe my wife's really good at what she does, and we have cool, respectful kids.
Can it possibly mean we're better than you are?
I always just go like, "You sound like you don't like being a parent." And then just watching them backpedal.
Yeah. Oh man. Well, thanks for doing this, Bill. I really appreciate it.
No worries.
Yeah,
thanks
really
for
great.
Having me.
It was good. I really looked forward to it all week because I was like, I get to check in with Bill. We don't get to see each other at the clubs and stuff.
And I'm not smoking a cigar this month. Probably not next month either. But I'm like,
I always hit you on those months. By the way, I'm always
listen, dude. If you want to smoke one, I'm easy. I'll do it. This is the thing. I just need one, and I just don't bring one home.
Right. All right. I'll have you come to my place. And,
what are you smoking these days?
We'll social distance. Cohiba. But I'm plowing through. I don't have many left.
Oh, okay. I like the La Auroras.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Really? I've never.
La Aurora Sapphire in the afternoon.
Ooh, I haven't had that.
I have an emerald at night. Or a sapphire in the afternoon.
Ooh.
I'll tell you what's the greatest. I do this with Josh Adam Myers before this pandemic. Is you have one of those and afterwards you have a root beer float. Makes no sense, but it is fucking awesome. We always sit there when we would do it, right? We were sitting there smoking, and when we were done, then we would have a root beer float. I think we would have the root beer float first.
Yeah.
And then we let up the cigar and just be like, who's enjoying life more than us right now? And he'd be like, nobody. Nobody is, dude. Nobody.
Oh, that's the best.
All
All
right,
right,
brother.
buddy. Good hanging with you.
Yeah, great hanging with you. At some point, too, I
Yeah.
want you to teach me how to make a mother so I can start making bread.
Oh, I'll definitely do it. Whatever you want.
Yeah.
Whenever you want.
Kelsey Peretti just dropped off some bread. It was delicious.
Oh, did she?
Yeah, and she had all like the Thai things in it, whatever you call that, you know?
Oh, like a
It's all,
challah bread?
braided.
A challah bread.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, she brought over braided bread, and it was
Right.
delicious.
Wow.
And it was the best 9 pounds I gained in a week in a long time.
Awesome.
All right, dude. Thanks
All
for
right,
having
buddy.
me.
Take care of yourself.
Don't watch CNN and Fox.
Stay
We're
off.
all Americans. Let's start pulling in the same direction.
Let's go. We can do it.
2021 victory. All right, we'll see you.
All right, buddy. See ya.